Welcome back to Dom's Corner, everybody. I'm your host, Dom Martino, and sitting here to my left, making her Dom's Corner debut, is Miss Sammy Ramirez. Sammy, how you doing today?
Doing great. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming. So we got some great news topics to talk about today. We got that Wakanda series coming from Disney Plus, and Jared Leto tease. We got Wall Street shit going down. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. So I'm very excited.
Get into it.
All right. So, without further ado, please, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, and more importantly, share this with your friends. That's much appreciated, very much appreciated. If any of you guys have been joining us on stereo, we appreciate that. We've been having a lot of fun doing podcasts over there, so let us know how you guys feel about those, and if you want to see more of those, because we will oblige. And if you guys know other people that need to listen to our stereo podcast, please promote stereo using the hashtag anoraksofficial. Would be much appreciated. Very much appreciated. You know, I'm laughing just because I'm thinking of Animaniacs Assemble. That was one of the greatest moments of my entire life. I mean, that if you guys don't know what we're talking about, please go back and listen to the last thing we did on stereo. I couldn't give you a time code, but there is a moment where people almost killed each other over a name, and that was quite a humbling experience. So that was wonderful. Sammy, thanks for being here. Having a good day so far, or, you know?
Yeah, doing great. Not doing much. You know, living the American dream.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been bitching at the Amazon people all day. They don't want to fix my Amazon Music account. Those fuckers. I told the guy they're eating Kit Kat bars over there.
Well, you hear the news. Jeff Bezos stepped down as CEO today.
I know.
So he was like, I can't deal with this. This is too much. I am stepping down.
Right. What a perfect day.
This is beyond me at this point.
What a perfect day for me, for him to step down. Right. I'm sure my shit would have been fixed otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's top priority over at Amazon right now.
Sure. No, I'm just ready to transfer all my shit over to Spotify. Fuck them. I'm not using the Amazon Music anymore. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, every time I go to load up an album, if I like recently listened to it, then it won't load up for some reason. Like, I just get this blue circle that goes round and round for ages. The other thing is when I go to pull up a playlist that I created on certain devices, the music's not in the playlist. Like, the playlist will show up and music's not in there. So that's my rant.
I've never had any of those problems on Spotify, so come to the light side.
Yes, I might go to Spotify. You're on Spotify?
I am. Spotify.
I'll go to Spotify and I'll share all my playlists with you.
Great. That's another great part of it.
That is true.
Share like your music and stuff with people, and it's honestly that's a very underrated part of Spotify.
That's true. I think you can on Amazon, but you have to assume it works. That's the trick there. Yeah.
And like I have an Android. I've always had an Android.
Yeah, me too. Big Android guy over here. So
I need things that I need Android friendly,
right,
shareable things for it to actually apply to me.
All right. I want to talk about the stock market stuff because it's getting really crazy. Listen, this is nuts. I don't know if you understand the stock market whatsoever, but
slightly. I kind of just understand it to be a bit of a kind of a game. Like, there's a lot of rules to it. It's also kind of made up, and no one really particularly knows where everything is. So
100%, yeah.
A little. I kind of put it beyond me because this is a game. I don't know if I want to play.
110%. Like, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. So here's what's going down. Reddit users, a bunch of kids, they get together on Reddit. You know about this part, I'm sure. And they basically figure out how to beat the system through an app called Robinhood. I don't understand the stock market whatsoever, folks, so just so you know, I just breaking it down the way that it was broken down to me. But they basically figured out how to beat the system that the Wall Street stockbrokers have been, kind of fucking up forever. They figured out how to also fuck up that system to make money, and also bet on businesses that weren't doing so well. And basically you're talking businesses like GameStop, AMC theaters, things like that weren't doing so well when you got these Wall Street big time men who are, basically all their money essentially it goes toward like the failure of these businesses because the stocks are
Right.
low. But when you get 1,000+ kids together to, bank on these things going up, then the stocks go up. And that's how that works. Well, it's Robinhood's job as an app to basically report hedge funders to the Wall Street people. Well, actually, what the app is made for is so hedge funders or the little guy, quote unquote, can open up or buy their own stocks and all that shit and put them into their hedge funds. And then
Right.
Robinhood, to my understanding, what another one of their jobs is to report the hedge funders to the Wall Street people. So the Wall Street people are pissed because the ones that bet on these businesses failing, which is a terrible thing, by the way, but the ones that bet on them
Yeah.
failing are basically like, they're fucked. They're like billions of dollars out. So now
Yeah.
they have to pay for these kids that got together, and they have to pay for their stocks, and they have to pay for the businesses' stocks, and so the businesses' stocks go straight up. 100% illegal, by the way, here. The thing that is illegal is for the Robinhood app to basically tell these kids, well, now you can't sell your stocks, or now you can't, cash in on your stocks, you can only sell them. And that's 100% illegal and needs a criminal investigation. So that's something that's
Right.
happening to these kids, unfortunately, for basically beating out the same system that the big guys have been beating out for years. Capitalizing on these bullshit numbers. These kids
Yeah.
figured it out. So at the end of the day, I guess the part that comes into play and is more important to hear on this podcast and the things that our audiences will be happy about is obviously GameStop stocks shot right up. AMC theaters, now this is the one that was the most exciting to me, has basically said we can go 2021 without opening at all and we're still good now. That's how much
Wow.
our stocks have shot up. So that's great news for the movie theater industry. Even if they don't open in 2021, these kids have saved the business. So this is wonderful, wonderful stuff, Sammy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I think I don't know, it's hard because again, I don't know that much about the
Right,
stock market. I mean, like the my greatest, which I mean, you can say is again a credit to the American public school system for never teaching me about the stock market.
very true.
Um, yeah, most I think of in my head is like the Wolf of Wall Street, which is not where you should be getting your accurate Wall Street
No,
information from, right? I do know though,
they didn't even know what they were doing in that movie, so
exactly,
it's
exactly. Again, it's a made up game. No one
right,
really knows. Like, does anybody really know what the
right.
stock market, how it works?
There's
Like, is there a
somebody.
concrete answer or is it all interpretation
I
and it's
mean,
just
there's people sitting at the very tippy top of it all, and there's like maybe a select few that really understand
yeah,
how everybody's getting fucked essentially. But trust me, as Americans, we do capitalism the wrong way. Trust me, and
yeah,
it's bad shit.
hmm,
Until we
right,
figure it out, and once we figure it out, and once everybody has this technology at their fingertips, then we can all fuck the system and all have
hmm.
fun. But anyway, go ahead,
And I
Sammy.
will say I did hear like isn't the Robinhood app like going under or they're shutting down or something? Because
I don't
I did
know.
see a tweet that
Maybe.
I loved. I didn't fully understand. I didn't know like how true it was, but it was like kind of bold of an app called Robinhood to shut down the minute all of the Robinhood shit starts happening. And
Uh,
I'm like, that is true. They were literally though stealing money from the rich to give to the poor, to the
right.
people who learned how to manipulate that. Because everybody who was the money they in the situation stole it from was all rich billionaire people who probably don't pay taxes
Who
and
made
I
their money
mean don't want to say
banking
anything,
on
but
failing
yeah,
businesses? You understand how
precisely.
sick that is? Like I'm not trying to get political or
But
anything
yeah.
like that, but
Hmm.
like this is the reason our movie theater industry goes under. Our precious movie
Yeah,
theater
yeah,
industry
exactly.
is because of these sick assholes who like to bank on the failure of their business. It's
Right,
ridiculous. So
right.
needs to be stopped. And these kids, I'm rooting for the kids here and on
Me
Reddit to
too,
like, yeah, fuck the system. Keep going at it. This
honestly.
is ridiculous. They've been fucking us for years with this shit. It's time to
Honestly.
stop. It's time to teach them a lesson, and they have been taught one because they still have to pay out on all these stocks, and it's a whole big deal. If I butchered this whole story, somebody, please don't yell at me.
Yeah.
I don't understand the stock market whatsoever. I'm just kind
Me
of
neither.
going by the information that was given to me and the way it was kind of simplified to me.
Right.
But either way, what the important part of the story, the moral of the story, is that AMC theaters gets to stay open, and I miss my movie theaters, so that's exciting to me. I think that's a
Same.
great, wonderful thing. That's the moral to the story. But do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I'm always gonna believe in, I'm always gonna believe in the heroism of stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. That's always a good idea in my head. Oh,
Yeah,
that's always the hero in my eyes. Always gonna root for that guy. And
yeah,
again, yeah, because the theater industry is such a kind of fragile business right now. Nobody really knows when all the theaters are going to be able to open back up,
yeah.
or when and if they do, what it's going to look like, what theaters are going to be there, where they're going to be. So it's great that AMC getting more money. I always going to be happy about them staying open.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Government couldn't figure out how to bail them out, but these 1,000 kids on Reddit could. So that's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
It's almost like someone cares about the public and well-being of others, and someone doesn't.
Yeah, a little
Almost.
bit.
Yeah.
It's a little fishy, isn't it?
A little fishy.
All right, so let's move on to this. This is really exciting. We were kind of talking about this on Stereo a little bit, and again, guys, check out Stereo. Make sure you follow both our accounts at Don Martino and at Sammy. I pointed the wrong
Yes.
way. Where are you? At Sammy Ramirez over there.
Right.
Yeah, we've been really having a lot of
Sorry.
fun, and it's really given us a chance to really interact with all you guys. So
Mhm.
thank you for tuning into that when we do that, and if you haven't already, please do. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's move into Disney Plus is getting a Wakanda show from the director of Black Panther. We kind of touched on this already. As part of a new 5-year TV deal with Ryan Coogler's Proximity Media, writer director Ryan Coogler is making a new Marvel TV show for Disney Plus that will be set in the Kingdom of Wakanda, part of a 5-year TV exclusivity deal with Coogler's production banner, Proximity Media, which includes principals Zinzi Coogler, Sev O'Neill, Ludwig Göransson. Oh, Ludwig. Gotta love Ludwig. Great
Ludwig
composer.
Göransson.
Oh, yeah. Archie
Yeah.
Davis and Peter Nix alongside Coogler himself. Coogler, who directed and co-wrote Black Panther and is set to write the direct sequel, A Black Panther 2, for release on July 8th, 2022, will develop a new Wakanda series as his first project under New Deal deadline reports. So, Sammy, I'll go to you first. What do you think of this?
I am so excited about this. I love Ryan Coogler. I love Black Panther, the film. I love Wakanda, the world. I love his take on it. I think this is a great opportunity for the Marvel Universe just to keep expanding and to keep opening up, and especially in the world of Wakanda that is so, advanced and different than everywhere else around it. That there's so many different stories you can tell there. And like I think to the scene in Black Panther where um Black Panther him and Lupita Nyong'o's character just like walking through the marketplace
Right,
street. And I'm like, I'm sure there's probably 10 amazing stories of people just that they pass by
right,
right there. And hopefully, I think that's where I hope the show is going, that it's more of like the kind of the everyday people of Wakanda and kind
right.
of like the Mandalorian, like different stories
Yeah.
in the same world. But yeah, I'm really, really hyped for this actually.
Definitely. I know I kind of brought up the notion to you earlier that like I feel like like MCU is all Kevin Feige, but like when it comes to the world of Wakanda, they just gave
Right.
that to Ryan Coogler and they're like, expand that however you want. This allows people to become comfortable with the fact that I think Chadwick Boseman has passed and is not going to be a part of this anymore. And the way you get people comfortable with that is by expanding. It's almost like when Disney kind of ended of the Skywalker saga. It's like, okay, how do we get people comfortable with not having the Skywalkers anymore? They were kind of easing into it originally with like Rogue One and Solo, and well, Solo's still kind of very connected to the Skywalkers, but you get what I'm saying. Like they were kind of doing spin-offs at first, and then but the real comfort zone level, or the real thing that they did to put people in a comfort spot without the Skywalkers was the Mandalorian. And I think a lot of the appeal to that, as you were kind of mentioning, is that it's something so new, it's something so far away from the Skywalker saga, and that it's this incredible expansive galaxy that you're able to explore. And same thing here. I just feel like Wakanda is within its own separate world. It's one of the most expansive things that they could expand on. And I think that that's going to be a really fun project for Coogler and team to tackle. And I think that that is I mean, look at Ryan Coogler. He's just such a visionary, right? Like he just
Right.
everything he's touched has been original, including his Black Panther film. Everybody could say what they want about the film individually. I'm telling you right now, that thing is the first MCU movie to get a Best Picture nom for a reason.
Sure.
It's because Ryan Coogler's magic touch. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's been my favorite for a long time in the MCU, or since it came out. Personally. That's just me.
Oh, nice.
But no, but I'm of course I'm super excited about this because of that, and I'm with you. I'll follow Ryan Coogler wherever he wants to go, and whatever journey or ride he wants to take me on, I'm gonna go on it, and I hope most people feel the same way. Let me ask you this: do you think that they should use some of the cast? Or to what degree, I guess, is a better question. Should they use some of the side casts from like Black Panther and things like that?
That's a great question. Huh. I think maybe you have them involved more kind of like in the beginning of the series, I would imagine, to kind of set it up, like maybe um the Dora Milaje and Okoye need to send somebody out on something, and that's the
Sure.
catalyst for the show. Or maybe someone within the Dora Milaje is who we follow. Things like that. I don't see them being major characters because I think they mainly want to save them for the feature films, I would imagine.
Right.
Though I do think cameos are highly possible.
I think it's a given we're gonna get
Yeah.
cameos because
Well, yeah, yes. Yeah.
again, it's like it's the way to kind of comfortably move away from the Chadwick Boseman Black Panther. Even though I'm sure there'll be many tributes to him, and his spirit will live on within the show. I just think that this is the way to get people comfortable with the fact that he's no longer with us. It's gonna kind of give us closure on that. Well, actually, I hope the Black Panther 2 movie gives us the most closure on that. I think that that's where you need to have the real closure. But yeah, just having a series that's with them with Wakanda is gonna, just kind of tell people it's okay. We have a whole
Yeah.
world out there. It's sad that we lost such an iconic figure in Hollywood. Let's be honest, but there's a whole world of Wakanda out there that we can explore, and I think that we will prosper. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's I think that's probably the best way to describe it for me, and I think it's a wonderful idea, and it makes sense. It just makes sense. The second I heard the story, I was like, yeah, that just makes so much sense. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking forward
completely
to it.
agree.
Looking forward to it. I can't wait. Yeah, so let us know what you guys think in the comments
Yes,
below.
please.
Yeah, I would love to hear your opinions on this. All right, Sammy, we were talking about this one earlier. Let's talk about this. Zack Snyder shares new Justice League photo teasing Jared Leto's new look Joker. We both saw the image. What did you think of
Yes.
the image?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think of the
First
image.
impressions.
My first impression was this looks scary. This seems horrifying. He seems to be is he like behind a cell? Is he there by choice? Was he forced to be there? Is this because with the Joker, you really don't know what he's gonna do until he does it. There's
Right.
no way to predict where he is in the situation. There's no way to know where he is, and or even who he's interacting with. Like I have so many questions, but I guess intrigue is my first
Yeah.
my first impression.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, when I looked at it, my first initial thought was, does he have like bandages around his face? Because that's almost what it
Yeah,
looked like on to some degree. But then actually, I'll tell you what I first thought. When I first saw it, I was like, is that
right.
fucking Joaquin Phoenix? Because that's exactly what it looked like.
True. Yeah.
And I was like,
Yes,
but no, because
it
Snyder's
did.
whole tweet said it was basically toward David Ayer for thanking him for bringing Jared Leto in, and being happy about we get to share the universes now, and now they're gonna like really connect in this big way. Whatever he said, something along the lines of that. Very nice tweet that he put out to David Ayer, but. Yeah, it looks like. I mean,
It does.
my best guess is that he's gonna take Jared Leto into just a completely, like spin off of what David Ayer set up with him, but like take him in a new direction. Like I think we're gonna see a whole new, far more into his insanity type of Joker from Jared Leto, and I think maybe a little bit more the performance that he wanted to give, and like maybe now that we see this, maybe it's like, oh, okay, I understand why he was sending Margot Robbie dead fish and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like, maybe that really is part of the method. Because when obviously when you see his cartoonish type Joker in Suicide Squad, it really doesn't compute the method acting. But
Yeah.
I've been telling people this for a long ass time. I guaranteed there's an hour and a half of Joker shit that David Ayer shot for Suicide Squad that we never got to see. So I feel like Zack Snyder, planned to carry that over from what David Ayer was doing, and that just really never made it. So I feel like this is the time for Jared Leto to shine. We can see what all that fucked up method acting was about. Maybe this is the direction that it was planning on going from the beginning, that they were planning on going from the beginning with them, and that's what I truly believe. And I think that it's a great opportunity to see Jared Leto shine and be scary, because I told you about the little things, how fucking bad that movie was, but how freaking scary he
Right.
was, because he made that movie 100%, and he deserves it's an Oscar worthy performance in such a bad movie, unfortunately. And I think that he can really shine and be scary and be a presence that's going to be really freaky. And I do agree with you, the image itself is freaky. My worry is that we see him and they're like, it's just it's this exactly what you would have thought it would be. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I want it to really surprise us anyway. But what do you got?
No, yeah, I completely agree. I always still feel like there is so much that Jared Leto had to do and David Ayer wanted to do with him. There was so much that we did not see in that final film
Right.
that was filmed and happened. Because I also agree. I remember seeing the movie when it came out in theaters and being like, so I'm like, so you're telling me, Jared Leto, that you thought this performance was warranted of sending dead fish and condoms to Margot
Right.
Robbie and
Right.
Viola Davis, and I'm like, for this, yeah, I always thought that was always like way, I was like, that was way too much for
Right.
how kind of normal-ish, I guess, his performance was. Like Joaquin's was, I thought, way crazier
Yeah.
than Jared Leto's, and he didn't do any of that. And I mean, actors are all different in the way they approach roles.
Of course.
Yeah, but I hope though I'm still intrigued by that Joker that Jared Leto and David Ayer had in their heads that warranted that, and I
Right.
hope we get that because that's it's still something I want to see, and I still feel like a lot of people
Yeah.
want to see.
Let me ask you this. Is it going to be weird to put like a grounded Joker or try to mix him in to this essentially massive fantastical world that Snyder's kind of building here, so it seems? Do you think that like going into a storyline where we have this grounded psychopath within all of that is kind of going to not fit in the vision, or do you think that there's a way that you can maneuver it in that makes it work?
I think there's definitely a way you can maneuver it in for it to work. I think there's definitely like storytelling elements that could bring that together. It's still hard because I still don't know
Yeah.
how um how the Joker fits into it. Like, and
Right.
it's hard because like you try to think back to the theatrical version of Justice League and you try to place like where would the Joker fit in there, but this version is allegedly supposed to be totally different or go different ways. So it's hard to tell, but definitely possible, I
Yeah.
think.
I guess
Yeah.
I mean, like, Zack Snyder does things in a really, really dark way, like, for
Hmm.
sure. And he's got, like, even if he's like gonna open up a fantastical world, it's like he's gonna make it's still dark. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I think that you might be able to offset that, like, in a great way with a creepier Joker for sure. I'm
Hmm.
just afraid, like, after the Joaquin's Phoenix type performance, where, like, okay, that just works in a grounded world where there's not spaceman flying around or whatever the fuck. So I
Yeah.
just think that it's just it just works so much better with that kind of world. But like, if Zack Snyder has like a really good play and a really
Hmm.
great scene and a really great moment that feels justified, like I think he needs to be set in such a way that like he's everything that Batman knew before, and then like now there's just bigger, badder things to fight. But like, I don't know. I don't know how they are going to play him in this whole scenario.
Hmm.
But I think it should be interesting. But do you have any ideas of how they would even approach that?
I'm trying to think. So I'm trying to think of how we've seen the Joker and Ben Affleck's Batman interact before. And I know they've definitely know each other and have fought each other and have interacted. And
In such a small way, though. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
yeah,
so it's going to be interesting knowing that or that canon says that they at least know each other a little bit, but have never had that like like face-to-face
yeah,
interaction and sit down and talk about things like how like the moments in The Dark Knight that make that movie so great when they're just
yeah,
talking and that's how you really get involved with the character.
yeah.
So kind of hope we get something like maybe like the interrogation scene in The Dark Knight. Maybe not exactly that because that would totally be people would totally call like copycat,
Right.
but something to that extent.
Yeah, I just think it's yeah that I mean because if you're in the asylum, you're kind of in a more grounded set type thing anyway, right? So it
Right.
might fit better if we have just the one on one between Leto
Hmm.
and Batman. I think 100%. Margot Robbie probably pops up in this thing as Harley Quinn at some point too. I would not be surprised after kind of seeing his Joker. I would like to see her,
Hmm.
and they might use it to kind of set up. Maybe that's the extra 4 minutes they tacked on is to kind of set up the Suicide Squad, for example. And
Hmm.
I'm sure even though it hasn't been announced in the laundry list of cast members, I bet you Jared Leto pops back up in the Suicide Squad, the one being done by James Gunn as well after this. Especially if he's received well, you better believe he'll probably. Well, they're already filming it, but he'll pop up in that
Yeah.
movie. I'm sure. It's just, I think that they got a new plan. I think that with the new leadership over there at Warner Brothers in DC, they're like, oh, you. They probably watched all this original footage by David Ayer and Zack Snyder, and were like, oh, you guys actually did have good ideas. Nobody just really saw what you were where you were going with it, or maybe they think at least that they had good ideas.
Hmm.
We'll see how it all turns out, but I'm super
Hmm.
excited to see this all come to play. Very exciting, and how
Sure.
that's the other thing I was going to ask you. How does this raise your excitement level, or does it keep you in the? Are you still cautiously excited, or are you a little more excited seeing this tease?
I'm about the same level of excited. Yeah, it doesn't make me any more or less excited. Kind of the same. Like I knew the Joker was going to be in this in some capacity, and now I
Right.
know that he flashes his a business card at some point, and that's about all the new information
Yeah,
I got. But
it's pretty cool.
still exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more curious if anything than excited.
Right.
Like I was already stoked, and now it's just you got me even more curious. So that's kind of where I'm
Hmm.
at with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
being
you bring up a great point about maybe Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn popping up in this is setting up the Suicide Squad. So that's something I haven't really thought about, but like
right,
how does this film tie into the rest of the DCU as a whole if we're
right.
counting it in the canon and
Right, they're knocking
if
the
we have
theatrical cut out. So yeah, definitely we
yeah.
need to know how this one's going to set up everything else.
Hmm.
I'm betting you that's the extra 4 minutes they tacked on or whatever. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, right, because especially with this like the Suicide Squad coming out, you have Yeah, because if Harley Quinn is still gonna be and should be, I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Is still gonna be such a prominent character, and you have the Joker in this that, especially whenever the timelines line up, that really does affect her
Right.
and her place in the
Yeah.
DCU.
Definitely. Definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, guys, let us know what you think of all this in the comments below. So we're gonna move into the next article here. By the way, I want to give a special thanks to Jareth Love, who's now our social media manager. He's been putting in all these great articles for us to read out on the show, and thank you very much, Jareth. Appreciate that. All right, let's see what we have here. So, this one was really, really cool. Star Wars Andor's first set photos tease new planet. The first set photos from Star Wars Andor's set hint at a journey to a new planet in that galaxy far, far away. The set photo acquired by Bespin Bulletin shows a green screen going up into Buckinghamshire. This suggests the filming will commence there soon and that the production needs some digital effects assistance to create the environment. Andor, a prequel Rogue One, a Star Wars story, with the film's writer Tony Gilroy as the creator and showrunner, and Diego Luna is reprising his role as Rebel Alliance spy Cassian Andor. Disney revealed a look at the streaming show during its Investor Day presentation in December. In addition to Luna, the show's cast includes Genevieve O'Reilly reprising a role as Rebel leader Mon Mothma. Ooh, I didn't know that actually. And newcomers to the Star Wars universe, Stellan Skarsgård, Denise Goff, and Kyle Soller. Alan Tudyk's return to voice the droid K2SO is a little more complicated. Okay. A couple things I want to
Okay.
focus in on this article. I actually didn't look at the set photos, so we won't go into the location and everything, because when it comes to location, to me, it's like you can speculate and speculate all day on that, and it's like, well, even though it looks like something, I don't think it's that necessarily. If it looks like a planet that's been described, it doesn't necessarily mean it's that. Like, that's happened a billion times. I remember in the
Hmm.
Mandalorian season 2 trailer, when they showed that ice planet, everybody's like, it's Hoth, it's Ilum. So it's so vague when
Yeah.
you see set photos and think of something. What I actually wanted to focus on more was the casting stuff here. I mean, because we had Mon Mothma, I'm sorry, Genevieve O'Reilly, reprising her role as Mon Mothma. And also, well, we'll get into Alec Tudyk later as K2SO. But the first thing I want to start out on here is Genevieve O'Reilly for sure. Because Genevieve O'Reilly, I keep mispronouncing her name, but sorry about that.
Genevieve O'Reilly. Got
Genevieve
it.
O'Reilly as Mon Mothma. Does that kind of does this in any way kind of give you any kind of shape of where you think that this might be going?
It's interesting that they name her as a main character because so far what we know about Cassian Andor from Rogue One is, his relationship with the rebellion is
Complicated.
not the it's very, very
Yeah.
complicated. So to have the leader of the rebellion be one of your top main named billing cast members, that's very telling and very interesting. And I think the fact that she's involved just screams the fact that we are going to totally dive into why exactly Cassian's relationship with the rebellion is so sketchy, and so wild, which honestly makes me so excited because I do love Rogue One. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was a great like war movie. Like, the way it was filmed and everything was incredible.
All right.
And I think learning more about Cassian's backstory is going to make that movie kind of all the more heartbreaking, but in the best way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have a theory, and
All
I think
right,
you're
let's hear
100% right on where you're going with that too. But I do have a theory, and my theory is that the last scene of the last episode is going to be the first scene that we see Cassian in Rogue One. That's what I actually
Interesting.
think. I
Okay.
think that's where it's all going to kind of go. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Because when you see Cassian, like Jen's got backstory, but when the first time you see Cassian, it's like he's in the middle of something. We don't really know much
Hmm.
about him. And I think
True.
that this show's going to, yeah, like you said, further develop him. And we're going to be all the more sad for it by the time we see the rest of this whole entire damn series. I'm getting tongue tied. I wanted to go into also the fact that I think it's going to be kind of Cassian's turn over to the rebellion as well, because a lot of people don't know this in canon. He was a separatist, you know. So I really want to know like what made him switch sides too. So that's a big interesting plot point. I think that they're definitely going to drive home on in the first season at least. And speaking of that first season, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about was the casting of Alan Tudyk, who came out at D23, you know, when they first announced this thing, and now he's in interviews saying, I'm not in this thing yet. Yet.
Right.
Which I feel like they're pretty far into production on it, and the fact that he hasn't gotten a casting call or anything like that, and he's just kind of assuming they're going to bring him in season 2. I don't know how you feeling about that. That rubs me the wrong way, but go ahead.
Right. Well, from what I know, I don't know exactly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe like when we meet Cassian Andor in Rogue One, him and K2 haven't, like, they're friends and they've known each other for a while, but they haven't known each other for years and years and years. It's not like when we meet
That's
Han and
true.
Chewie for the first time where they've had years and years and years of adventures together.
That's true.
So maybe this is maybe we meet, we towards the end we have them meet for the first time and they don't want to spoil that, is what I
Perhaps.
hope happens, because I would love to see that. I would love to see the first
Yeah.
time they meet.
I mean, I'm gonna hope to God he's in there by season 2, especially
Same.
if my theory is correct on this about, you know,
Right.
yeah, Cassie, like that last scene of the show being the first scene we saw in Rogue One, which I
Yeah,
think
if
just
your theory is right, then I think, yeah, if your theory is correct, then I think that we definitely just keep following um
yeah,
um him from, like, kind of, I guess, wherever they choose to start, and
yeah.
then we keep going until Rogue One. So
It,
it would be, yeah, towards the end where we meet K2 for the first time.
Yeah, and introducing him later could be a very warranted choice. Come to find out, like we might be
Hmm.
watching that and go, "Oh, that makes so much sense," and it even
Right.
adds like a little more appreciation to Rogue One, like how they met, when they, you know, everything like that. So that might add a lot more appreciation to the movie, for sure. I don't want to you know step on anybody's toes and say that they're not doing their jobs properly, because I think that's
Yeah.
100% a possibility. My thing is this. I'll get into this.
Hmm.
This is my maybe playing devil's advocate or whatever you want to call it, but
Right.
don't you think it's a little odd they brought him out at D23 though? Like, and he's not going to be in the first season. And doesn't that kind of remind you of Kathleen Kennedy bringing out Ewan McGregor and saying, "Oh, the scripts are written, they sound great, we're about done," and then you find out the writer gets fired like what 3 months later? It's like, you said you were happy with the scripts and you're going to go into production soon. What gives, you know, or shit like that.
Right.
Like I'm not one of these fire Kathleen Kennedy guys. I don't want anybody to get me
Yeah.
wrong on that. I've never been one of those guys. She's an incredible producer. She has a wonderful resume, but my whole take on this is like she's fucked up quite a bit though.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like there's no doubt about
Yeah.
it that, you know, I think she's on a good course now, but she's fucked up quite a bit in the past. Do you look at that and just, do you think it was a fuck up on their part, or
I mean, in the case of Kathleen Kennedy as well. I mean, like, for every Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, you get a Rise of Skywalker. You know, I feel like with
true?
Kathleen Kennedy, she definitely, like, it depends on really who she's working with, who her
Box
creative
office is
team
good though.
is, I think. Yeah,
Her
yeah,
box office
box office
average
is
is
always,
astounding. I mean, but
yeah,
anyway, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, I think that is interesting. I think hopefully, like, in my heart of hearts, I want to be like, he's K2's coming in at the end. It's gonna be like a reveal, like how, Grogu Baby Yoda was a big reveal that no one really knew about.
Yeah.
So maybe hopefully, but that is, yeah, I do find that odd. I feel like Alan Tudyk, if he's not in the show, he's gonna be like, "What the hell, Kathleen? You flew me out here and then you're not gonna put me on your show?"
Yeah.
I would be upset.
And listen, I'm a guy. I like Rise of Skywalker. I think it's entertaining. I have my criticisms on it for sure, but I
Yeah.
do like the movie. I find it very entertaining. Unlike you, I like Solo. Unlike you, but what another thing I like though is I like Ryan Johnson. I like Dan and Dave Weiss or whoever was on
Mhm.
Game of Thrones, and they're fucking gone because of this
Right.
woman and because she didn't play her
Right.
cards right or know what she was doing. So I'm able to see both sides of this, and here's what I've come to the conclusion on, I think, for this. I
Yeah.
do think it was a fuck up, 100%. But not in the sense that they never planned on using him. I don't think that she thought all the way through how people would react to the fact that we're going to announce him initially and then just
Right.
not have him later. I mean, she's
Right.
she's an interesting one when it comes to some of the decisions.
Right.
I mean, this is honestly my theory is that she, knew Ala Tudyk was or K2SO character was going to be a part of it. She knew that would excite people. She brought him out on stage. Probably talked to Tony Gilroy afterward, and he's like, he's not going to be in our story for a little while there, Kathy. So
She's like,
she's probably
sorry.
like, oh fuck, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, again, I think she's
Yeah.
a wonderful producer. Terrible studio head.
Right, right. And I mean, as the studio head of a company, that doesn't necessarily mean that the most. It doesn't like just because she's the head of Lucasfilm doesn't mean that she knows the most Star Wars trivia out of everyone. It doesn't mean that she knows, all the specific details and all of the things. So it is
Supposed to
possible
know you
that
have
she was
books.
like, yeah, exactly. Like, and right? She's like, she's like, I didn't know that until recently, right?
Right.
But like I could totally see how she could be like, oh, it's the Rogue One show. Let's put the Rogue One like Cassian Andor. He was with the droid. Let's get the droid guy back up there. I can totally see that,
Right.
and her just like maybe not knowing or being aware that in the writers' room they're like, actually, we don't have Alan planned for a while. You
Right.
know?
All right.
Yeah.
I watched this brutal last interview with him and the Entertainment Tonight girl. She's really good. I can't remember her name, but Ash Crossan. Anyway, so I watched his interview with Ash Crossan on Entertainment Tonight, and yeah, it was just really brutal to kind of listen to him try to dance around her question because she's like, "You're lying, right? You were at D23," and he's like, "Well." No, yeah, but they don't actually bring me in
Right.
until later. He's like, at least I don't think. And it's just
Yeah.
like, how do you not know? It's like, it's some of the weirdest shit that goes on at Lucasfilm. Not to go down a whole rabbit hole, but like the fact that like Donald Gleason didn't know like his backstory and everything. It's like, why don't you have people there to inform, or at least I thought that was Pablo Hidalgo's job over there. I guess not. You know what I mean? To inform the
Yeah.
filmmakers of the backstory. And you can blame these filmmakers all you want, your Ryan Johnsons and JJ's, but the fact is like you got Pablo Hidalgo over there who's too busy bullying kids online to go and help his filmmakers out with
Exactly.
backstory, and then you got Kathy Kennedy who thinks she likes somebody until she doesn't, and then you got a
Yeah.
whole business going on. But not to go down that rabbit hole, Ken. I think I've spoken on that
But
many
yeah.
times. This will make Mark very happy. He does not like Kathleen Kennedy. He's probably jumping up right now.
Really.
He said, "Does somebody say Kathleen Kennedy?" He's probably pulling up his phone and just trying to figure out who the fuck said it. So,
It's
but
like, who said it? Who said it? I heard it.
wonderful man, that Mark. Thank you for being on the show all the times you have. No, listen. So yeah, guys, let us know what you think of the Andor
But yeah.
series. Real quick though, excitement level for the Andor series. I mean, does this decrease the excitement not knowing that K2 is going to be in the first season, or are you just still just as excited? You just want to see this happen?
I mean, again, pretty excited because again, it's despite not having K2SO there, I still love the character of Cassian Andor, and I think
Right.
his backstory is something that's really, really fascinating and interesting. It's not at like my highest um priority or like even at the top of my list on like Star Wars shows. Like I would say I'm looking forward more to Obi-Wan Kenobi than I am Cassian Andor,
Yeah.
but still looking forward to it.
Yeah, I have really high hopes for this. I mean, Tony
Me too.
Gilroy's working on it. He did wonderful work on Rogue One. I don't think that we're going to be let down here. He understands the material and the characters, and I think that, we're going to really definitely get something extremely special out of this, and I think it's going to be a wonderful experience. I like, again, that they're going to go with the same scale that they used on Rogue One, and it's going to feel like a big scale fucking movie. And not something that's just. I'm not saying The Mandalorian was half-assed. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying like that. It's gonna feel like those practical type things that we like about the original Star Wars. But
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, every show I expect to have its own style, so that's not a stab at any of them. It's just,
Right, yeah.
yeah, no, I just really like Tony Gilroy's style and what he went with, and a lot of the choices he went with on Rogue One. Oh, I'm sorry, Gareth Edwards, because apparently he's the
Right,
credited
you're right.
director, but you know what I mean. But no, I
Yes,
really enjoy
yes,
Gareth Edwards' choices on
yes.
yeah, Rogue One. So yeah, I think it
Mhm,
could be really cool, and I love the sizzle reel showing all the practical effects and all
mhm.
that stuff, and everything that they've built for this, and
Right.
yeah, that's just a lot of fun, I think. So,
Mhm. Do we
um,
know who's doing the score for it? Because Michael Giacchino's score for Rogue One is honestly like I love that score. I listen to
me
it
too,
over and over
me
again.
too.
That's a great score.
It's a wonderful score. It's much better than
Yeah.
Solo's score.
Oh, yes, agreed. Highly agree.
Yeah, that Solo score was it's
Yeah,
the roughest one I think they've done so far. But
it's
anyway,
pretty
it's
bad.
not terrible, but yeah, it's rough. But
It was really bad. But Rogue One's was great. Yeah.
yeah, no. You know what's really funny is the first time I saw Rogue One, I was the score. I think it was just probably because it wasn't John Williams. Like I wasn't huge on
Hmm.
it, but I have like a playlist. It's just all Star Wars scores, and like I throw it in there regardless if it's
Hmm.
my favorite or not. Like even solos is on there if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
So like I had that on repeat quite a
Right.
bit, and the Rogue One just kept popping up. It was like every time there was a
Hmm.
track from Rogue One, I was like, I really like this. Where's this from? And then I would
Yeah.
look at it and be like, oh shit, Rogue One.
Hmm.
So that was always fun. Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
wonderful score. I agree with you, and I
You ever want to like get hyped the song Rogue One or like the music piece entitled Rogue One from Rogue One? Like
mhm,
that gets me hyped every time.
yeah.
It's great.
I would like to see Ludwig Göransson do it too, but it sounds like he's going to be a
Hmm.
little busy with between Mandalorian and Black Panther now, and
Yeah.
sounds like he's going to be a very busy fella. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, I wonder if they'll use like that. This is my nerdiness, but that stagecraft technology to shoot that Black Panther series, just out of curiosity, because I
Hmm.
don't know. I think that could really do them wonders. I love that stagecraft stuff that ILM's doing with Mandalorian. I think it looks pretty sleek. I think it looks really
Hmm.
cool, and it's a really cool, revolutionary way to shoot movies, these days. So, but yeah, guys, again, let us know what you think
Yeah.
of Andor in the comments below. That's gonna wrap up the news, guys. We're gonna have a slightly shorter show than we typically do, but we're gonna try to have Sammy Ramirez on more often. So, thank you for tuning in again. And Sammy, where can the people find you?
I am on Twitter at Sammy Ramirez, spelled Samee Ramirez. And then I'm on Instagram at Sammy Ramirez, spelled that same way, but 1 4. So Sammy Ramirez on Twitter and Sammy Ramirez 14 on Instagram.
Yeah, so make sure you follow her if you want to hear people talk shit about the Solo movie, because that
Yeah,
is
let's do
definitely.
it.
Oh shit! I just noticed my shirt. Oh fuck.
I was gonna say, I was like, honestly, Lando was like the one thing I give people on that movie. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
he was great.
Donald Glover was wonderful in that film.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
I'll give you that one.
Like I thought Alden did okay, but like Donald Glover was Lando. You know what I mean? Like he became Lando.
He's
It
good.
was yeah, he was really really good.
Yeah,
Uh,
I believed him the most for sure.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in again, and you can follow me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_, and then on Instagram at Dom_Martino_official. And then yeah, I'll be leaving that in the description below, along with Sammy's social media information. Also, again, be sure to follow us on the Stereo app if you want to interact with us a little bit closer about these topics and things like that. Much appreciated. We've been doing a lot of podcasts over there. I've been doing some with Ian. You can follow him at Ian Schick. You can follow me at Dom Martino, Sammy at Sammy Ramirez. Pretty simple handles that we have over there. And I hope you guys, come along for the ride. I mean, we've been having a lot of fun. I think it's my favorite thing to do anymore is these stereo ones, because we're just kind of shooting the shit very freely and
So
having a
great.
lot of fun meeting people, and it's been a wonderful experience. So guys, want to thank you for tuning in again. This has been another episode of Dom's Corner. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comments section. I've been Dom Martino, this has been Sammy Ramirez, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye bye.